This is my wishlist unit tier list considering the value of the first copy of the unit. So getting started with Abigail, this is a nice unit, niche unit for AI PvP, aka Guild Wars or Arena, to protect the backline unit in some comps. Aki is a nice unit to one-shot some enemy units that are slower than him, so he usually has to build pretty fast, but other than that he doesn't see that much use. Alencia is a niche PvP unit again, usually for young senior comps only. Arya is a unit that's not picked very often, but is a counter pick in RTA against some compositions. Also, it can be used in a Wyvern one-shot team. Arunka is basically useless. Actually, PvE for Rift, for the current Rift, that's about it. Baal is also a PvE only unit for the Grass Expedition. Bihu is kind of a niche unit. He can be used in PvE for the green constellation and also for some burn comps, but for me it's mainly a PvE unit, but some people do use it in PvP. Bellona, PvE only unit, used to be used in the Banshee one shot, not really required for it anymore. Not really sure where you can really use her now actually. Rig, PvE only unit, PvE god. Bomb Model Kana, PvE for the green expedition. Cecilia, PvE for the green expedition. Celine, strong. She's kind of fallen off like a lot in RTA because she's just not strong enough anymore, but she's still pretty decent counterpick against some non-attack skill users. Sermia, PvE only unit for green for the light expedition. Charlotte, kind of useless now to be honest. Shu, niche for PvP, AI PvP, and that's about it. Chloe, pretty useless. Charles, PvE for the water expedition. I mean, not expedition, the water constellations. Destina, pretty strong reviver still, honestly, especially with the 60% free effect resistance. Command Model Laika, PvE unit. I don't really use her, I put her in useless, but some people do use her for PvE. Ida is really only used for cleavers, but even then she's not really used that much nowadays. Elena is still extremely strong in today's meta against certain AoE damage dealers. Elagos, niche for PvP cleavers, that's about it. Elvira, niche for stealing souls using her artifact or using her as a Lady of the Scales frontline tank because she has 3-turn immortality. Avalian, PvE unit for the water constellations. Fene for the fire constellations, actually for any PvE content in general actually. Like, she's just so good in PvE, does so much damage and heals your whole team as well. Fenris, PvE unit for me at this point. I don't really think he can be used in PvP, so I'm just going to leave in this place mainly for water expedition. Haste, PvE unit against green bosses, but that's about it. Huayang, she needs another buff. Ilanav, she needs a buff. PvP only units. Iseria, PvE only unit. Can be used in a multitude of places. Umia, niche for PvP, but she's extremely hard to use. Crow, niche PvE. Actually, I put him in strong. It's actually pretty decent. Flan, useless unit for cleavers. Like, she's just so outdated. Genoa is still pretty strong considering the RGB units, even though he fell off a lot. Wukong can still be used as Stray's bait, but not really used for anything else. Kane, PvE unit. I don't even think he's used in PvE. Like, he was used in the Rift, the first Rift that came out, and that's about it. So I'm just gonna put in useless now. Cowerick. He's used in Hall of Trials. He's like one of the niche debuffers that used sometimes best in slot for one of the Hall of Trial rotations. Kron, I'd say pretty useless at this point. Ken, PvE unit. Kisei, useless. Crow, I'd say he's pretty strong, 20%, 25% mitigation, plus Holy Sacrifice or Adamant Shield. That's like extremely high mitigation. Lidica for an RGB unit is... the kit is extremely overloaded, but she's still fallen off a lot since her glory days right after her buff. Lilias, PvE unit. Lilibet, PvE unit. Especially for one-shot Banshee, I think she's a new best for one-shots. Loa is technically a PvP opener, but she's so outclassed and outdated at this point. I'll just put her in niche. Ludwig, useless cleaver unit. Mort, one of the best units in the game still after his buff. Narqual fell off a lot, but the thing is her kit is still really strong even though she fell off and is basically unplayed. I'll just put her in strong tier. Melissa has some uses in PvP and PvE, some niche uses. Luluka, PvE unit. Mui, useless. Pavel, useless. Era, niche because of her 128 base speed. Politis, strong. Would have been best in like previous season or 2 seasons ago meta, but she's fallen off a bit. Ran, I think if you're a cleaver with really good speed, I'd put him in best. Saria, put in niche. He bridges with like Renak, extra turn units, Renak, like Ran, etc. Robin, PvE unit. Rowana, PvE unit. Senya, useless. Schneel, niche, but DDR is dead, so technically he's useless, but in case DDR ever makes a comeback, he's in this niche area. I'm not putting Sez in the same tier as these units, I'm just gonna sadly put him into useless. Setsuka, strong. Unfortunately, I think I have to put Ravi in useless next to Sez as well. She's fallen off so much. Sigrid is just a PvE unit. Sharoon, niche unit with the Venoms. AU, useless. Tamarin, basically PvE only unit. Tenebria, PvE only unit as well. Only used in grass expeditions if you don't use Baal and Cezanne. Violet, sadly useless. Vildred, niche PvE cleave unit, usually only used if you have the max speed imprint on him. Vivian, PvE unit. Tywin, niche for stun protection for the backline. Yoha, I'd say strong unit, especially against Freerin, can reflect a lot of damage towards the Freerin. Zahak, sadly I'm gonna have to say useless. Euphine can be used with like a Zeo, but Zeo has fallen off so much because of Iseria, but I just put him in niche anyway. Yuna, useless unit. And finally we have Ray, who I consider just to be a worse version of Destina, so I'm just gonna put him in useless tier, because if you have Destina then you don't need this unit ever.